What would you do if your partner's financial irresponsibility threatened your carefully built life? In today's story, the protagonist's choice is a masterclass in how to handle it. I'm Amelia, 43 years old, and for the past 6 years, I've been with my partner, Ben, who is 50. We've shared a home for 5 of those years, though marriage has never been in our plans. My son, Leo, is 19 and finishing high school, while Ben's daughter, Chloe, 21, is currently in college. To truly grasp our situation, you need some background. 3 years before I met Ben, I became a widow. I was fortunate enough to have a highly successful business and some family wealth. My late husband also left a substantial estate, including the house we now live in. This house is a cherished family home, and it passed directly to Leo as our only heir. Ben, too, earns a good income, and initially, the differences in our lifestyles were barely noticeable. However, there was a stark contrast in how we raised our children. My late husband and I made sure not to spoil Leo. He was responsible for keeping his room clean, even with a housekeeper, had weekend chores, and we taught him to cook. His allowance was reasonable, and he had to save for significant purchases like a car or a gaming console. Ben and his ex-wife, on the other hand, spoiled Chloe rotten. When Ben and I first moved in together, there was an incident. Chloe, despite only visiting on weekends, demanded Leo's bedroom because it was the second largest. She was, of course, rejected, as it was Leo's home. After some family therapy, we established that Chloe would be treated as a guest by me. She would follow the house rules, and that would be the extent of our relationship. Despite being spoiled, Chloe is generally a good girl, academically excellent, respectful, apart from that initial incident, and a pleasant young woman. The real issue, however, was my ignorance of the sheer extent of Ben's spending on her. Ben contributes rent, which I discreetly deposit into Leo's college fund, and we split common household bills equally. Beyond that, our finances are separate, so we don't pry into each other's spending habits. Recently, Leo began planning a summer tour of East Asia, and I was delighted to fund it as a gift for his acceptance into a very prestigious college. When Chloe heard about Leo's trip, she promptly asked her father to pay for a European tour, citing that he hadn't sent her on one after she got into college. True to form, Ben, who struggles to say no to her, agreed, but then, he approached me, asking to borrow nearly $30,000, admitting he couldn't afford the trip on his own. I wasn't even giving Leo that much, and his plane tickets were more expensive. I flatly refused. I explained that since this wasn't an emergency, he could save up and send her on the trip after she graduated college. Ben stopped speaking to me. He accused me of playing favorites, an accusation I found baffling given my deliberately limited relationship with Chloe. He also claimed I was prioritizing money over his happiness and his relationship with his daughter. I could easily afford to lend him the entire amount, but I simply didn't want to. His reasons were utterly unconvincing. NTA, declared Stepdaughter astronaut, echoing my own sentiments. WTF. My first European vacation was when I was 31 years old and cost a total of roughly $2,500 including airfare. Jesus Christ. It seemed others recognized the absurdity of his request. Another voice, Watsmanami Gain 55, offered. NTA. Congratulations to your son for doing well and getting into a great school. Traveling is such a great experience for the soul. However, your partner is super out of touch. Good luck. Ben truly was out of touch. Turtle the Moon was equally flabbergasted. NTA. $30,000 for a vacation? That's a year's rent at $2,500 per month. That's insane. If he's not talking to you, then count your blessings. This entire situation illuminated Ben's greatest fatal flaw, his inability to set boundaries with Chloe, which ultimately sealed his fate with me. It felt as though he saw their relationship as purely transactional, always needing to buy her affection. The way I saw it, in your split financial setup, you aren't playing favorites. You are giving your son a gift. He can give his daughter a similar gift if he chooses, but it'd be on him to pay for it. This makes my head hurt. Obviously things would be different if you had shared finances, but you don't. Hard NTA. The moral of this story is that financial boundaries, especially in a separate finance household, are crucial for maintaining personal autonomy and preventing exploitation. What would you do if your partner expected you to bankroll their child's extravagant desires? Let me know in the comments below.